Hello everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com back again with another quick news update. We have some news on why Shinsuke Nakamura was absent from SmackDown last night. We also have some news on WWE's, order of priority in terms of Raw and SmackDown with regards to that new TV deal coming up. And also we have some news on Ronda Rousey, which comes from Sam and Ross, who went to Inside the Ropes' JR Talk in Newcastle last night. Check out insidetheropes.co.uk for any tickets remaining for future shows. Shout out to my boy, Kenny McIntosh. Kenny McIntosh. So first and foremost, let's talk about Shinsuke Nakamura and why he missed SmackDown this week. Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, it's quite a humorous reason, but I wouldn't like it to happen to me, and I do wish Shinsuke Nakamura the best. Apparently, he was bit by a sniffer dog, a police dog, at the show in Bakersfield, California on Monday, which I guess was like a SmackDown house show before SmackDown Live itself on the Tuesday. So the day before SmackDown, Nakamura was bitten by a sniffer dog, and I think probably wisely WWE decided that he was not fit to compete. His originally scheduled match was going to be against Jeff Hardy, the United States champion, but of course that was changed around and Jeff instead faced Eric Young in a match for the title. And if you watch SmackDown, you'll know that that match ended in a DQ when the Usos got involved, and then it turned into sort of a tag match. So Jeff didn't really defend the title with a victory, but he still came away with the belt, and he's still the United States champion. So yeah, we'd like to wish Shinsuke Nakamura all the best. Hopefully he recovers pretty soon. I guess it doesn't sound like that bad of an injury, hopefully. But yeah, one of those ones that I think will be a good quiz question in years to come. Why did Shinsuke Nakamura miss SmackDown that week? He was bitten by a dog. Good Lord. Next up, you may have noticed, if you follow WWE's official Twitter closely, that in plugging the deal with Fox, which is set to take place in the fall of next year, when SmackDown moves to Fox, they refer to SmackDown Live as their flagship show, which is very odd considering that for years and years, ever since its inception, the flagship show of WWE has, of course, been Monday Night Raw. Now, there's one of two things, really, that this could be. It could either be a huge shift in the makeup of WWE. They could be shifting their focus away from Raw and onto SmackDown. They could move their major stars over to SmackDown. The WWE Championship could become once again the biggest title in the company rather than the Universal Championship, or they could even swap the belts, I guess, even though the Universal title is bright red, and they could keep that as like the big dog belt. No pun intended, he's not won it yet. But I don't know what's really going to happen, but the fact that they've used the term flagship brand for SmackDown could be very telling. The other possibility, however, as pointed out by the folks on Reddit Squared Circle, R Squared Circle, the wrestling forum on Reddit, WWE also referred to Raw as its flagship brand in the press release regarding Raw's new renewed television deal. So are they just trying to make both seem important to appease the respective networks, or have they decided now, since that first Raw press release, that actually SmackDown is the flagship brand? I'm not entirely certain, but as always, time will tell. And this ties nicely into my final news piece on Ronda Rousey. So Sam and Ross have told me that at Jim Ross's talk last night, which I unfortunately missed, but apparently it was very good, he said that he'd had dinner with somebody who suggested to him that Fox are really hot on Ronda Rousey. They love her. Of course, Fox were previously tied to the UFC, where Ronda Rousey was a huge star, a breakthrough star, not only for herself, but for the entire concept of women's MMA. She's, of course, a former UFC champion as well, and then suffered a couple of heavy losses later on in her MMA career, but will always be remembered, I guess, in the UFC as a huge pioneer and one of the biggest stars in the history of UFC. Now, this seems to suggest that Ronda will be ending up on SmackDown at some point, and then I guess, what does that mean for WrestleMania 35? The hotly rumoured main event for WrestleMania 35 is, of course, Ronda versus Charlotte Flair. And I've been assuming for months and months and months that Charlotte was going to somehow end up on Raw, and her and Ronda were going to they were going to wrestle for the Raw Women's Championship. But because of this whole Fox interest in Ronda Rousey as a huge mainstream star, one who almost transcends professional wrestling in a way, could this mean that Ronda is actually going to go in the opposite direction and end up on the blue brand instead? I guess we'll find out the answer to that in the coming months. I mean, it might even take a little bit longer than that. They may do the whole Ronda versus Charlotte thing on Raw and then switch Ronda around in time for the new SmackDown Fox television deal in autumn or fall for our American viewers. So it's a bit of a confusing situation, but I think the crucial thing here to remember is the superstar shakeup, which basically gives WWE a prime excuse to shift around the rosters as and how they please in the event of such a deal taking place, or just for whatever reason they really want to. So It's an odd one, but I certainly wouldn't, personally in my opinion, wouldn't be surprised at all to see Ronda turn tail from Raw and hop over to SmackDown Live, but we'll find out in the future. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching this quick little news update. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Follow me on Twitter at JackTheJobber if you wish, and follow all of us at Cultaholic. And check out our Patreon as well if you want to, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, to join us.